everyone. It's John Galante, president of AE Ventures, here with another Tech Home Builder webcast. And I'm here with Emigh, who is the CEO and founder of Brilliant Smart Home. Aaron, kick us off with a little bit of a backgrounder on your career and trajectory in tech and how and why you started Brilliant.
Sure. Well, I've come at tech from a lot of different angles over the years. Everything from making autonomous vehicle navigation systems from robots on Mars through to multimedia and social media, and then retail technology. My last company was called Shopkick, which had it was a very popular mobile app and location-based systems that were put into all the major retail chains. So I was coming at smart home from a little bit of an outsider's perspective initially, where I was putting a lot of smart tech in my house as part of a renovation project. And what I found is that the consumer grade stuff I was putting in, because I had looked at the complete home automation systems and felt they really weren't for me due to lack of configurability, cost, extensibility, and just they weren't on the same technology trajectory that the consumer products were. But I found that the more things that I put into my house, even though I liked them all individually, the less I liked using my house. It was just getting really frustrating to have to do everything within my house using my mobile phone. And the other members of my household weren't having any of it. So that was a source of conflict in the home to a certain extent. And just felt like it was an unnatural way of interacting with a home. And we felt that what was needed was something that would tie all of these systems together and provide a really high quality, modern user experience for everything that goes into the home. But at a price point that everyone would be able to do it. So I sort of started because I wanted it for myself and started thinking about it that way, but then realized there was a real opportunity in the market because there were a lot of people in the same boat.
Gotcha. So you said you looked at, I think, with the pro install side of things, kind of the incumbent traditional control manufacturers, and you decided that was too complex and not really where you wanted to be from a user interface perspective or ease of operation. Tried the consumer direct level DIY products and found that unsatisfactory, and that's kind of how you identified your mission. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I liked the individual products, and I felt like there was just so much innovation happening, and prices were going down to the point where they're really something that can go into every home. But there wasn't something that tied it all together and really made it truly a part of the home. The nice thing about the traditional high-end automation systems is that they're built into the wall, so they're a part of the home. The not so nice thing about them is you can't configure them, you can't add in the latest greatest hardware that you want with it. You have to rip apart your walls to put in low voltage wiring, or if you're building new construction, you need to have a whole new set of contractors involved and potentially going up the works, and of course cost, which has been prohibitive to making them a solution for 99% of the homes that get built.
So you identified these pain points and jobs to be done, and what is it that you created? I guess the first time I became aware of Brilliant, it was about your all-in-one smart home control. I think that was your first and flagship product. Tell us a little bit about the design and development of that product, and kind of what the feature set is and why it's differentiated.
Yeah, the Brilliant Control is the heart of the system. That remains our flagship product, and it's something it's a wall-mounted panel. It installs where you'd normally put a light switch, so it doesn't need any special wiring, and normal electrical contractors can do the basic install. And it gives you touch and voice control over all of the smart devices in your home. So if you've got a Ring doorbell in the single family space, or a Butterfly MX system in multifamily, for example, someone's at the door, you will get a notification on the wall everywhere you have a Brilliant Control, and you'll be able to talk to the person who's there. You'll be able to, one tap, unlock the door and let them in. You can control your Sonos system, so you see all your playlists and favorites and so on, and you can play Sonos anywhere in the house from the wall. You can control your climate. You can do whatever smart home systems you have installed or you are installing into a home that you're building. We integrate with those, and we are the user experience for all of that technology within the home. And then on top of that, now we've launched additional product lines So we've launched the smart dimmer switch, which gives you whole home smart lighting capabilities. We've launched a smart plug. And in the multifamily space, we have a SaaS service, which allows multifamily developers and operators to manage technology at scale and capture energy efficiencies and operational efficiencies and so on. So
Right.
it's become a full suite of products over the years, and no longer just the home control, but that remains the heart of the system. And the home control comes in 4 different sizes, because you might have a single light switch all by itself, or you might have a row of 2 or 3 or 4 light switches. And so we want you to be able to put the controls anywhere that you want to, just based on the normal electrical work that you're doing. So we make 4 different models of it to accommodate those, and we make them in 6 different colors, so they'll match any decor.
And you've got a companion app for smartphones as well, that if that's the convenient interface and you happen to be there, you can get to system control on your phone or on a remote basis. So I'm assuming that's the preferred and used interface as well, right?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right about that. Well, I think that although I felt that apps on a smartphone were a very unsatisfying way to control the home when you're in the house and you just want to control your immediate environment, they're exactly the right way to control a home remotely, where what you want is to control access to who gets to do things, who gets to look through the cameras, because we have built-in cameras where you can do intercom, you can do remote video monitoring, you can do baby cam, and so on. And who gets to control the home, that you want to be very restricted. It's actually the opposite, if you think about it conceptually, of what you want within the home. Within the home, you want anyone who's in the house to be able to use it. And that sounds kind of stupid and obvious, but we've somehow gotten away from that as an industry by putting everything through these mobile apps. And when you have a dozen different apps and you got to run an app to unlock the door or adjust the lights or play music or whatever, then when you have house guests or you have kids without smartphones, or you just have members of the household that are a little less tech forward, then you end up in a situation where people actually resent the technology because it's getting in their way of using the house, rather than unlocking everything that you can do with smart tech in a home. So I really think there's a magic to that built-in controller that exposes the capabilities of the home to everyone who's in there, and they don't have to be experts in it. And there are a lot of advantages to that.
Well, it seems like you've thought through the user experience and the use cases more thoroughly than honestly some Silicon Valley types do when they come to market in the smart space. A lot of them are like, hey, the whole world is on the phone, and why do anything different than that? But you're absolutely right that it needs to be democratized for everybody who's occupying that house. And who wants to be the choke point on control of all these devices in a home? So I see you have some product behind you, but I don't know, do you have your all-in-one control? Because I want to look at your light dimmer industrial design. Can you bring that forward and show us?
Sure. Let me see if I can point the camera over here at it.
Yeah, that's
so this is on the left, the Brilliant control that controls 2 different light switches. So you can see that we've got a dimmer switch here, and you can just control that directly. And then you can map the other one to different things. So this is actually mapped to the volume of the playback of a Sonos system. You can map it to the level of a smart shade or something as well. So there are a lot of different things that you can do with that. Here on the screen, you have the digital picture frame capabilities, which, there's nothing new about a digital picture frame, but what's interesting to me is that more than 2/3 of the Brilliant controls in the field have the homeowners having uploaded custom photos. So they have pictures of the family and vacations and so on up on the walls all the time. So it really becomes a positive feature. And you're talking about the industrial design. We designed this to be as evocative of a normal light switch as possible, while updating it and making it modern. So it looks natural next to pretty much any kind of construction. You can put it next to a piece of molding and it doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look like alien technology or like someone duct taped a phone to the wall.
Yeah.
Then over here is our smart dimmer switch. And like the Brilliant control, it has built-in motion detection, so it can do occupancy-based lighting. And then you can do the same kind of dimming. You can touch anywhere to turn a light off and on. You can also double tap on it to invoke a home automation scene. So even though this is a very low cost smart dimmer switch that doesn't have a built-in microphone or a built-in screen, you can still access the home automation features of Brilliant all through the home. So you can, this is mapped, for example, to a scene that'll turn on the lights and start playing some music and unlock the door. And with a simple double tap, it'll do all of those things.
Yeah.
And go ahead and turn that off rather than give a little concert. But this gives you an idea of what's going on. And it has Amazon's voice services built into it. You can access with a single tap all kinds of different home automation scenes, and then there's a lot of functionality available down below as well. But these sliders are really a core of it because we wanted for it to be really easy to access the lighting capabilities, since this does replace the light switch, and since the light switch is actually the thing that people use the most in terms of home controls. So we spent a lot of time making sure that this was really natural and easy for people to use, even if they've never seen one before, so they don't really need any instruction on it.
And the grooves for the slider there, it's not a slider per se, but is it the same material as the rest of the faceplate, or is there something special about it?
Yeah, no, that's the same material. It's all one piece, and then behind it are sensors. So it's a capacitive touch capability that goes through the plastic that detects where your finger is.
And what are you able to dim down to on a percentage scale? I mean, what sort of range do you have?
We have no limitations on that. You can dim down to zero, down to an infinitesimal amount above zero. Now what you do need to do is that with certain LED loads, they don't actually dim well down to low levels. So what you do is you actually calibrate the switch where you tell it where the first on position is, basically.
Talk to me about your ecosystem partners. Who, what, why?
Yeah, I mean, we work with most of the different smart home technology companies. So in access control, we work with Ring, and we work with Butterfly MX in the multifamily space. We actually have integrations coming up momentarily that will add to that roster as well. In smart locks, we work with Schlage, and we work with Kwikset. We work with Yale. We work with August. We work with most of the companies that are out there, most of the major companies that are out there. We work with the Genie garage door systems. We work with Sonos. That's an extremely popular integration. We have dozens and dozens of different companies. I don't want to list them all, but we also function within a lot of the ecosystems that are there. You can actually look on our website, www.brilliant.tech, and there's a works with section, and that'll show all of our partners. But as far as the ecosystems go, we build Amazon's Alexa voice services into the Brilliant controls, so you don't actually need any kind of an Echo device. You can just talk directly to the Brilliant controls. We also work with Google Assistant, and we are HomeKit certified as well. So we work with all of the major ecosystems that are out there. We view ourselves very much as a unification layer and a user experience layer. So we try to pull everything together and have them all work together in unison.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the process supports that you have for builders and their businesses. Products are, I don't even know if they're half of the equation. Actually, they're probably 20% of the equation is features, benefits, advantages of the product, and it's you got to have those process supports for the builders in terms of sales and marketing assets. So if they decide to make it a standard, are they going to get lift for the community? Or if they're going to sell it as an option, how does that happen robustly because you've resourced them? And the other things I think are your ecosystem partnerships and helping them with full solution assortments. But probably another thing to speak to in addition to the marketing and sales is the training or sub identification. How do you train the sub so that this does not become a disruptive to the construction process or slow down getting homes to market? So speak to some of that.
Builders is a huge focus for us. And we realized we were really onto something special when we we saw something happen years earlier than we expected, where we thought that when we were first engaging with builders, we'd be an optional add-on. You'd go to the model home and you go, oh, that's nice, I like it. Then you go to the design center and you'd say, okay, I want the hickory floors and I want the granite counters and I want the smart home package. And that's not what we saw happen. What we saw happen right out of the gate, as soon as we started engaging with builders, is that they were making a standard in every home that they were building. We'd go into a 1,000 home community, boom, they put us into every single one of them. And I think that's a testament to two things. First of all, the price point that we hit, and the Brilliant Control that you've seen, that's MSRP of $299 for the control, and the dimmer switch is just $59. So that's a price point now where, for $1,000, you can really do something impressive in the home. And the second thing that it does is it really shows off the investment that you're making in smart technology. When you put a smart lock in and a smart thermostat and the other kind of built-in smart tech that tends to go into new construction now, if a prospective home buyer is looking at that, they don't really see it. It doesn't look like anything. When you have a Brilliant Control in the wall and it really pops. There's something special. You look at it, you tap on the screen, you see what it can do. It shows off all of the investment that you've made in smart tech. And so one of the things, to get to your question about what we do in terms of marketing support and so on, one of the things we do is just draw further attention to that, let people know what it is. So for example, we give you hang tags that go over the Brilliant Controls and say, hey, this is brilliant, and here are a few things you can do with it to get started, to give people a clue about what the value is there. And that way also, the agent who's showing the unit doesn't have to be an expert in smart tech necessarily. We have a lot of collateral, both for viewers and also leave behinds for home purchasers or renters, because we're active in both markets. We provide deployment support. So we have a deployment team that will help you, make sure that you have sort of the right ecosystem put together in terms of all the different smart home products that are there. Understand, how the home is going to be used and how that's going to map onto the technology that's appropriate for it. We help all the way through, and then of course we have a support team. Both for the whoever's doing the installations, and then also for the end users as well once they're in the unit. And I think it's important also to understand that builders operate in different ways, right? So we have some builders that are installing the Brilliant Controls themselves and configuring it, and we have a training team that'll go and give training and make sure that they understand how to configure it and get everything set up and so on. We have others that use custom integrators, and we have a 200 dealer network that we work with there, and so if chances are we already have a Brilliant certified, trained integrator in a given builder's region. If not, or if they have a builder, an integrator that they really like to work with, then we'll train them up and get them certified on it. It is designed to be DIY-able, so it's not a deep intense, year-long process of learning this thing, but still it's good to just understand basically what it is, what the capabilities are, how to set it up and so on. So we support all the way through, from the deployment through to the collateral and the sales material and the marketing support, and then on through to supporting it to the eventual homeowner or home renter.
And what about electrical contractors as subs for this? Because you're in that electrical switch box. I mean, are you training a decent number of builder EC partners on how to do this stuff, or you seen that?
Yeah, as far as the electrical install goes, it literally installs exactly like a normal light switch. So there's not much training to do on the electrical wiring perspective, because if you know how to install a light switch, you know how to install the Brilliant Controls. Where you need to make sure people are a little bit tech savvy is just to configure it. And again, it's a DIY-able product. So it doesn't require a deep expertise to do it. But some electrical contractors are not they don't really use technology. So you need to make sure it's somebody who's at least reasonably
Do
conversant.
you have any situations where it's like an electrical contractor doing the physical install of the product, but the programming and commissioning of the system is handled afterwards by a low voltage integrator? Seeing that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in fact, we make the product in two physical parts. So that's an easy thing to do, where an electrical contractor can just install the gang box part, the part that fits inside the electrical box. And that has a push button switches, so they can verify that all the wiring is working the way it's supposed to. And then the faceplate piece snaps on. I would call it sort of semi-permanently. It's never going to accidentally come off if you knock it with a broomstick or something.
Yeah.
But if you have a toddler with a hammer who smashes it or something, you can just replace the faceplate piece.
Yeah.
But also, it's very, very useful for that scenario where you're doing a split install, where you have an electrical contractor who's just going to install the physical switch modules, and then someone else can come along, snap the faceplate on. That also helps make sure that the technology doesn't get broken or painted over or whatever by other contractors in the course of a construction project.
Yeah, and the product itself is being accessed through distribution or direct from you guys. How's the
Yeah, all of the above. So if you're a builder, if you're a large builder, and you have your own team that's going to do the installs and so on, then you can buy direct from us. Or if you go through an installer, then you generally would be buying from the installer, and they buy from us. Or we also are, through distribution. We're in a lot of regional distributors. We're also available through ADI. So, our general approach is we found that builders take a variety of different approaches to their projects, and we want to work with whatever their preferred method is.
I like to call it the most heterogeneous market in the world. There is no one solution for builders. So it's good that you've recognized that and accommodate it. Hey, so you've been around 5-6 years now. You've got builder partnerships. Give me your top builder partnership on the single family side of things. I know you don't want to pick a favorite, but give me an example of someone who's really killing it with Brilliant, and why.
All of my children are beautiful. No, I seriously, I don't have favorites. What I'll do instead is give a little shout out to some folks who were early partners, because you always have a special place in your heart for the companies that made a bet on you a few years ago when it wasn't obvious to everyone that you were going to be successful at it. So one of our early large builder partners, for example, is K. Hovnanian. And we've gone into a number of communities with them. They were the first large builder to make us standard in all of the units that they were building in these communities. And we had a lot of really great experiences and learnings with them, and look forward to many more. And in the multifamily space, I'll call out a company based out of Florida called Zom Living. And with Zom, we've done number of buildings now. These are large buildings with hundreds of apartments in them, and that's a different set of integrations. That's a different ecosystem, and so we've learned a lot together with them, and we're going into more and more buildings with them over time. So as I said, it's those early sort of learning customers where you're really getting to understand the channel and do these deployments at scale that are really special.
Well, what are the attributes of a builder hero customer for you? Somebody that really leverages Brilliant as a strategic advantage. They're not just buying from you based on price and availability, but they have a relationship with your company, and they understand how to leverage the products and your other supports. What are the attributes of a company like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because you might think that there's a sweet spot in terms of the size, the price point of the homes, et cetera. We go into $180,000 tiny homes, and we go into $7 million, actually, and above. But as far as builders who are building at these price points, probably more of them are going into 4 to $600,000 homes, but that's just a lot of those are being built. We really fit across the board there. I would say the biggest attribute is just somebody who understands the benefits. I think that everyone's being pulled into smart tech one way or another because consumers want it. But if you can look at that as an advantage and go, okay, how can we actually make the offering more compelling? Because putting a brilliant smart home system, with how well it shows off the technology, will help you sell houses faster, which is a huge, huge deal. And you can charge more for them. There's a lot of data in both sale and rental markets that demonstrate that. And we just see it again and again. So if you have an understanding of the benefit coming to it, rather than just I guess we have to put in some smart tech, then those are the really good ones to build with because they're excited about it. They realize the advantages they have in terms of marketing it as well.
It seems like it would be somebody who's been around the block a time or two and is looking for the next generation, right? Maybe they tried to do too much originally, then they did too little, and you guys have you got a Goldilocks sort of product here that's got a lot of functionality. It's not overwhelming to the consumer. I really like your idea that from a merchandising perspective, it makes the smart home and the automation apparent during the buying phases. And I think you've engineered a solution that's elegant for the user once they move in. But very cool. I want to congratulate you on all the progress you've made in 5 or 6 years. That's it ain't easy, and there's a lot of folks that swing and miss. So congratulations on that, and we wish you continued success. And you guys are with us at the Tech Home Builder Summits pretty regularly, and that's a place where builders can connect with you, and also with the website address that we're going to put up on the screen here. So thanks again, Aaron. It's great talking to you. Appreciate the overview, and we'll see you in person sometime soon.
Thanks so much. Very much appreciate it.